All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, maybe good evening, depending on where you are on the planet. So, Jamie and I are really excited to be back again this year to share with you all our highlights and favorites of how our new varieties performed this year in summer trials. So, a little bit of, I don't know, housework. What do we call that? I don't know, the pre-work before we get started here. We would like you to use the Q&A feature if you do have questions for us along the way. If we happen to see it while we're presenting, we'll do our best to answer it there, but we will have time built in at the end to answer questions. So please use that functionality. And this is being recorded and will be sent out via email next week so you can watch it again, and we'll post it on our YouTube channel too. All right, so if you don't know us already, we'll do an introduction. So I am Alicain Carlson, and I am currently the head of marketing for our Americas region at Syngenta Flowers.
And I'm Jamie Gibson, and technical lead with Syngenta Flowers. This is our 5th year presenting this information, Allison. And we know that this information is used for our broker community, our grower community, the retailers looking at the performance across North America. And, this is helping you build those programs for 2025. So, you've got a lot of great information coming out at you hard and fast, but the good news is it's being recorded. So you can always come back and check it out.
Exactly. So, and it's always good to see this regional performance and see how these new genetics are stacking up. So let's get into here and absolutely thank our trialing partners for their management and how they're running these trial gardens. Because, without these gardens, we wouldn't be able to give this webinar. And it would be really difficult to launch new genetics and see how they truly perform across the country. So thank you to all those hardworking trial coordinators and their teams that help really make this possible.
We got about a little over 20 sites on the website and about 24, 25 places that we're going to highlight today. We want to welcome the Stephen F. Austin Trial Garden and Myers Fruit Farm to the collection of folks that are presenting genetics in their own backyards. So thank you.
Welcome to the trialing fam. And speaking of this website, so you can check out this website that has the sites where we trial our flower genetics and a compilation of photos of the high performing varieties too. So that's always available on our website as well, and is a great complement to this webinar. And we also have the trial performance from prior seasons up on the website too. So you can even go back and see, how our varieties from last year, how they performed in last year's season. And there's a nice little overview of the map.
Yeah, real user-friendly. Click on the icons. You can go specifically to the sites. The big message here is Syngenta Flowers is where you are. And, our commercial team visits the trial sites a couple of times during the summer to track the performance early, mid, and sometimes even late, just to account for its performance. So this tool on the web is really delightful, very detailed information, and it also links to those specific garden trial sites. Yeah. So you can learn more about that business, that university, or that other entity for their gardens.
Yeah, resources. We're all about resources, trying to make it easy. All right, so here's our agenda for today. So we've got a nice chunk of our new varieties from seed. So we'll go from kale to petunia there, and then our vegetative varieties, begonias, calibrachoas, vincas, some helianthus, vegetative, okay, and beautiful dipladenia and petunias. Talk about some new quick combos, and then a little sneak peek of what we got coming for 2025.
Always exciting.
Yes. All right, so Jamie, I'm going to let you kick it off with our bright and early kale, as Jamie is a brassica boy, the
Mm.
kale king,
Or crucifery kid is
cruciferous kid
another
there.
name that has been given to me.
There we go.
So yeah, I'm honored to have all those different nicknames. But yes, it's been with me since 1998, studying this at North Carolina State University. And I was a real skeptic when we brought in bright and early into our portfolio. You know, I've done a lot of trials with kale, love to grow the crop. And the key is that center upper central coloration of the leaves in order to market these at a timely fashion. And the good news is it gave the seal of approval quite quickly with earlier, absolutely, and bright, very bright white, very nice pink, and that red definition is incredibly strong. We know that kale develops these upper central leaves at around 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, in our trial work, both at the commercial sites and our technical trialing team, we've kind of identified that this one is earlier to color and colors up in warmer temperatures. That range is about 60 to 62, 63 degrees Fahrenheit, which is exciting, right? If you're a mum grower
Yep.
and you're trying to position this kale at the same time as your mums, you can put them on the racks at the same time, put them on the truck, and retail this the same time. So that's one of the tremendous benefits of this. We've done the comparisons against some of the leading curly kales in the industry, and we're just really impressed at the earliness of the coloration. The other great attribute of bright and early is its versatility, right? It can go in various container sizes, 4-inch, 6-inch, and up to that classic 9-inch container. And it kind of fills that pot accordingly. And very little PGR is required for bright and early kale. And we know we had to get this one out into the trials. So what better place to put it in the gardens is in Gilroy. When you visited us at Cast, you actually saw in our courtyard the displays of the bright and early bicolor, the white and the red in mass border, coloring up well before it bolts, because you know you've got to have about 4 to 6 weeks of cool temps.
Yep.
But sure enough, beautiful defined color. It really welcomed everyone into our gardens.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love that kale. And our new hashtag for kale is kale yeah. So if if you got some photos of bright and early kale in your at your locations, do at Syngenta Flowers and hashtag kale yeah, because we'd love to see how your bright and early kale look. All right, so moving on to another bright, but Bright Sparks Celosia. This is super exciting to have some new additions to and improvements to Bright Sparks. We love Bright Sparks for its bright colors, but then also its phenomenal like branching and flower power that gives. So, it has that nice central leader, but then all of the laterals start to break and then they have beautiful flowers coming off of them. So you get this really full plant follow-up color, that longevity of color, and just really top-notch blazing garden performance, as we like to say, from Bright Sparks.
Yeah, and a facultative short day plant. And so here we have trials in late June into July already showing defined color. And that's the exciting thing about Bright Sparks.
Right. So here we have some great photos from Gilroy showing it in our ground beds and in some like raised beds. And then Colorado State, you see that fill and that branching of that vegetative growth coming, and then the flowers on each one. And then that last photo from Smith Gardens, like just wow, like the amount of color on Bright Sparks because of that excellent branching is really phenomenal. And I don't know, Jamie, I spy with my little eye an AAS winner in these photos. What's that?
Yeah, that's Zydeco Fire, and that is an amazing variety. Look at that double flower and how that contrast of orange and just that bright burnt color, and how it compares and matches with some of these bright sparks. Perfect for late summer into early fall.
Yeah, so that's a great companion plant to like pair with Bright Sparks, the bright colors in Zydeco and the bright colors in Bright Sparks, and they just look really phenomenal in the landscape together.
Disease resistance, like with the Marilandica, but that elegance flower look.
Yeah, so big shout out for that new 2025 AAS winner. And then here we have some more photos of the performance of Bright Sparks from Penn State and then the University of Guelph. So again, just showing that the coloration and that performance on all of the colors and that dark foliage on the Bright Sparks bright red with the burgundy leaf.
Yeah, and thinking about this is a seed product. It doesn't require any kind of massive forcing or black clothing in these particular times of the year. So think about Bright Sparks as an option when it comes to this celosia, especially that dark bronze foliage. And just again, look at how you don't get that triangular look with some of the other
Right.
celosia series. Just all those secondary flowers just come up one at a time. Penn State, 5 out of 5 all the way through summer, all the colors.
That heat tolerance, I mean, landscapers, this is what's up here. Like Bright Sparks. It's fill and it lasts a long time. And then we've got it here from University of Georgia. Go Dogs. I know we got some dogs on this call. And then Texas A&M. So again, these heat, hot places, hot, humid places, and the Bright Sparks celosia just really thriving.
Okay, moving on to our final seed variety or series that we're going to highlight before we get into the vegetative types is our damask petunia. This is a multiflora. Damask has been around. It's adopted widely for growers that want to put it in larger packs, containers, baskets. It's very tidy and it doesn't require a lot of PGR. It's a multiflora petunia. And the good news is now it has these 3 novelty vein types: blue vein, purple vein, rose vein. So let's take a look. Just a few shots here in the garden, in the ground beds here in North Carolina, just showing you that uniformity and that nice bright color with that vein attraction. So you've got your core colors in damask, and now you have these 3 really attractive novelty types. And here it also is in the Deep South at Young's Plant Farm, showing you its garden performance, but also, again, think about it in the basket. Think about it in that deck planter, high density production, right? You're not having to space these tremendously in the greenhouse in order for production in that nice multiflora flower.
Yeah, and I love those for the combos. Like you said, those veins and then like putting them in with some of the more solid colors, just great for combos, which are really, really big right now. So nice seed option for that. Okay, so now we're transitioning into some of our vegetative varieties. So starting off with Adora Emerald Begonia. So we're really excited to launch this to kind of add to the Adora begonias that have the dark bronze foliage. And this Adora Emerald with the salmon flower has a more emerald colored foliage, so a green foliage with this beautiful, beautiful salmon flower. So elegant double flower, love it. And the trial gardens really loved it too. So here's some photos from Lucas Greenhouses of it in a nice big container, and just the vegetative growth and then the branching that it gets to have all those flowers, those double flowers just like spilling over, just amazing fill and garden performance.
Yeah, and the breeder that developed these basically said, these are full sun begonias. Now, given irrigation has to occur with the begonia, this is going to show you that strong flower performance in full sun in the garden. Containers is best. And what we'll also see in production is if the growers put this in higher light greenhouses, you don't want to put this in that lower tier of the hanging basket lines. You want to give it some nice moles per day, 12 up to 15 moles per day in production to really drive the flower power for Adora.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's what's going to get that branching and then that subsequent flower power. So, and we have all of these recommendations in our culture guides that we have for literally every single variety. So you don't have to commit that to memory. We've got, again, we've got resources. So those are all available online in our technical document library and also our growers success guide. And here's some more photos showing its performance across North America. So from Plant Peddler in Iowa to Raker Roberta's in Michigan, at Sawaya's in Canada, and then down to North Carolina in at Metrolina. You can just really see that pot fill, the flower power, the branching. It's just very consistent performance across all of North America.
And when you go in higher light conditions, that lighter pink color will then transfer into more of those peachy, pink, salmony, bright colors. And
Right.
that's just another added plus with Adora in full sun.
Absolutely. Yeah, good point. All right, and then here's the Adoras that have the dark foliage. And so still just showing those that it's the same flower power, the same performance, the same branching, just with that the darker foliage than the emerald. So we've got the beautiful satin rose and the velvet red here from Metro to Mast. So just man, these begonias are good.
So dramatic
easy.
there
Yeah.
in Western Michigan.
Yeah, and so easy to grow. So with the tips that Jamie mentioned and a little perusal of our culture guide, you really can't beat it. And this is like my favorite photo. Like it almost like doesn't seem real, but it is straight from Myers Fruit Farm in Ontario, Canada. Just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous.
For those folks that have their Excel file pulled up for Mother's Day programming,
yeah,
put this satin rose in for that Mother's Day 10-inch hanging basket, a guaranteed winner.
Yeah, I'd take a few of those for Mother's Day for sure. And I let my kids know.
Yeah, so on top of the Adora, those dark foliage along with emerald salmon, we really wanted to highlight too the performance of the Florencio begonias. These are the single flower. These have a little bit of Boliviensis DNA. They're also encouraged to be in full sun. And you can see the strong performance here in containers, just dramatic flower power on top of that nice canopy. Perfect for those hanging baskets, oftentimes used as a landscape begonia in part sun, part shade conditions. Another shot here, there in Iowa with just that tremendous flower power. We don't have the yellow here, but it's clearly performing just as well as all the others. You have that cerise, you have that red, the orange. It has a little more robust profile, a little wider leaf, a little greener leaf. And you can just see that they match nicely, just make a nice gift basket, but great performance for that patio or that porch that the consumer has, because begonias are tough, right? We continue to see the trend in popularity of begonias.
Hey, Jamie, you know what cerise means?
I do not.
You didn't brush up on your French?
Sorry.
Come
Sorry.
on.
Yeah.
All right. So I get asked, well, this question comes up. What the heck is cerise? It's French for cherry. It's cherry.
Okay.
So that's why it's just fun. So cherry.
Well, I apologize to my middle school teacher, Mr. Gibson, that was his last name, Mr. Zalk. I apologize for in high school. I took 6 years of French and I did not know what cherry.
Yes, you did.
Cerise. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Bad student.
Well, I hope I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so just one final shot here. Myers Fruit Farm, full sun, and there's that yellow, just striking, popping yellow, gorgeous color. And I spy something, Allison. I spy a little bit of an accent plant cascading down that Florencio pink. What you got there?
Well, that's one of my favorites. That is our Muhlenbeckia named Coins. And I am low-key obsessed with this Muhlenbeckia. The feel of it, it's like so easy and like flowy and amazing accent plant, super easy. And I think even by itself, all right, I'm probably gonna get some haters for this, but I think even by itself, it is absolutely just super fun. I mean, consumers are loving foliages these days. Not everything has to have flowers. And I think just the texture of this, like how easy it is to grow and like maintain for home gardeners, I think it could be a potential kind of replacer addition. I don't know, try it out to our typical Boston ferns. So just a full on basket of that. I'd hang them up on my porch. So yeah, love it.
I agree. I mean, this summer I have some in a pergola area and they're in 12-inch hanging baskets. I might have watered those baskets 3 times in, 3.5 months.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're just super durable. And, this complements some of the other great accent plants that we have in Syngenta, the Lysomachia goldie, the Calypso bacopa, our euphorbia, euphoric and double euphoric, helichrysums, and the mizu. All of these now have this new addition great for some of those broadleaf plants like begonias and dipladenia.
Right.
Just a nice accent plant, durable, tough copper wire plant.
Yep.
Moving back
So don't sleep on this. It's a good one. It's a good one. And you put another component in a, one species hanging basket and it's premium. There you go. Up the price. So easy peasy.
Who's ready to party?
Woo! Yeah. My birthday's in January though, but we can start celebrating now, right?
Yeah.
Actually, both our birthdays are in January.
Capricorns.
Yep.
And so birthday bash is really fun. Birthday bash is a double flower hybrid begonia. There are 4 colors that we introduced: the chocolate cherry, cotton candy, this raspberry sherbet, and the cream puff. Nice white, bright flowers, double flowers on this dark foliage. And it has a little more vigor than some of the other types, like these double flowering things. Like, well, I can practice my French. Instead of saying doublet, I'll say double.
Double.
And there's another one, double up, right? So think about those types of begonias. The good news about Birthday Bash is it has a little more vigor than those 2 other series. So it makes a perfect pendulous 10-inch hanging basket or a great 6-inch, and quite durable, full sun with irrigation, but also part shade and these nice, gorgeous, cute, I will say cute flowers. Here it is at Lucas Greenhouses there in midsummer, just after coming off cultivate. You can see that nice shiny foliage and those double flowers. And the key with Birthday Bash, okay, this is a big technical thing, big technical learning, is this one, because of its higher vigor than those other series, the double and the double up, it's going to require a propagation pinch about 3.5 to 4 weeks after stick. And what that does is it creates those well-branched base. You've got crown branching, and then you just have that nice uniformity, and you have a beautiful presence of color and canopy. If you don't pinch it, it can be quite top heavy in some cases, and you might see just heavy flowering, which might impact the look and performance of the plant. So pinching and propagation, it's in our culture guide, and we've worked with all the root and cells on these specific protocols. I just want to highlight too, the consistency when you do the pinch. You've got these 3 replications here at Penn State. Birthday Bash in the shade had a score of 4.8 to 5 all the way through summer. And we really salute the folks there in Landisville and how they cultured and produced these beautiful Birthday Bash for the garden display. So a great addition, easy to grow, easy to produce 10-inch basket. Where you want to put it in full sun, you want to put it in shade, it's just going to give a new addition to the consumer.
And I love that the cream puff one. I've got it in a basket in my backyard, and it's just been cranking all summer. I love it.
And they shed their flowers, right? They're not a botrytis cesspool.
Yeah, no, they have actually been pretty like bright white. I've been pleasantly impressed. So that's definitely one of my favorites this season too. All right, so Calibrachoa. So we have to add to our adored Calibrachoa series 2 novelties in this spark pattern. So we had blueberry spark and strawberry spark that we added this year. Again, great colors for in combinations, using in like our quick combos and things put together, but also just on its own for the beautiful pattern that it has. And with Cali, we love the vigor on it and the spread and just the performance, that like bigger performance of Cali compared to our other series, Cabrio, which is more compact. So some of the performance that we saw was, as we would expect from our other Callies, with just the branching, the color coverage, nice large flowers, even when it's getting hot. We've got photos here from Smiths to Youngs, and the flower size stays nice and large. We're very particular about picking selections where the flower size, stays large even in the heat. And yeah, the pattern, the spark, the color, beautiful for both of these.
So you're just adding to those novelties along with hot pink spark. You've got 3 sparks now. You've got your core colors in Cali.
Yep.
If you need to work with us on specific programs for Calibrachoa baskets, whether it's Cali or Cabrio, we have those varieties listed for you. We can build programs, and we're just delighted to have just more novelties in this Calibrachoa series.
Yep. And we have all of our day length recommendations, our minimum photo period recommendations for all our Calibrachoas and petunias in our grower success guide. So, making sure that you have that dialed in. We've got the resources to help you with that too.
Okay, so we're going to talk about petunias, and we're going to talk about a new Sunfinity. But in my opinion, this was just as exciting seeing it in the gardens. This is Nirvana XDR. This is a Catharanthus. This is Vinca. This is vegetative Vinca. Extremely heat tolerant, great plant for extending the season for retail sales, using it for higher end retail products, both as monoculture, but also in combinations. Things that you could put with this would be several of the species that we have in the portfolio, whether it's lantana, angelonia, pentas makes a great combo. But as a standalone in these trials, we've tried to present colors that are different than our traditional seed Cora XDR and our Cora Cascades. So look at that blackberry, just unique. The blue halo, the blush splash. Now we did have a Cascade pink splash that has now gone away, and we have more of this upright, or dare I say, sprounding habit, right? It goes up.
Sprounding.
Yep, goes up and then kind of cascades. And that's kind of helping present itself in these more retail attractive high-end containers, just more upright growth. The final one there finishing out is the Cranberry Halo. Right off the bat, out of the UGA, they had it as a plant of distinction in July with the pink blush. Here it is at Young's Plant Farm there in Alabama. Colorado State had some. You can see those really large flowers. The great thing about Nirvana XDR, it has just as strong a protection against the aerial Phytophthora. We're now up to, I believe, 34 isolates, resistant to 34 isolates of aerial Phytophthora. So really strong performance. We see most of this being presented in containers and baskets, but I can tell you it performs really well as a mass border in the garden.
And if you want to learn more about what Jamie just talked about the aerial Phytophthora resistance and what XDR, really means, that extreme disease resistance, we have a great video on our YouTube channel, and we'll throw in the chat that you can review to learn exactly what that means and all the benefits that means for you and home gardeners.
So let's get into some other trial sites. Here it is, welcoming you at the Lucas trial. This was the first block of plants when you walk down towards their trial garden, all 4 colors performing. Here we have it at Mass Young Plants. And I can tell you at the Bristol site, they have these beautiful deck planters, these large raised beds, if you will, out by Bristol to try to attract in the consumers looking at the gardens. They had a lot of great consumer days. They got a lot of great garden feedback there, but they put that Blackberry XDR, that Nirvana XDR out there, and it was so striking in those raised containers. Here it is in Colorado at Welby. Look at those large flowers and presentation, just to give you that strong XDR performance, whether it's in the West, the North, the South. Here it is in Plant Peddler in Iowa. I tell you, it was very striking there in Pennsylvania, in Eastern Pennsylvania, right next to a lot of the seed introductions that are coming onto the marketplace. These Nirvana were robust, full of color, and they had strong ratings of about 4.8 to 5. Actually, all fives. I went back to my data, 5.0 from June until August for the Nirvana.
Just those heat lovers. We're really super strong in heat lovers this year. It's just, which is, so important for that consumer performance. Happy gardeners is a happy horticulture industry, right?
Absolutely. For the folks that are thinking about Nirvana XDR, a little technical tip is if you're having challenge with bottom heat temperatures, maybe you're around the 68, 70-degree mark, and you're struggling with some of the callousing and root performance, you can actually acquire the calloused cutting form, the product form, and this is actually going to shave off some time in propagation, and it'll give you a good early jump on prop. And sometimes when your temperatures don't get up to, say, 74, 76 degrees bottom heat, you can sometimes struggle with the callus and the root initiation. This callus product form is just going to strongly help with that. What it also does is it gives you a little less time in the finished production. So this is basically an efficiency carried over into production. So north to south, you can see the flowers are a little bit bigger in the north, a little smaller in the south. Sometimes you'll see when nutrition's a little bit leaner, the flower size is a little smaller, but overall the flower presentation is quite strong. So Nirvana XDR, a solid performer from east to west, north to south this year.
Yeah, and check out our resources available for the callus cuttings. We have a lot of great data behind that from our trialing team, and it's definitely worth looking into for a lot of benefits that it has. All right, so let's talk about dahlias. So we had 2 new dahlia introductions this year. And this first one is Miss Mandy, so named after our dear colleague that passed away, Mandy Gerace. And so we're super excited to name this in her honor for the timeless beauty and elegance of this flower that matches with Mandy's personality. So it's this beautiful peachy, yellow, orangey, pinky color. I love dahlias because like their colors change quite a bit with the temperatures that they're under, which I think makes them very dynamic and beautiful. And we saw some great performance from this. Here's a couple of photos from Colorado State University where you can see, more of that yellow coming out with like the hint of the peachy pink. And then to DGI propagators in Michigan, where you see a little bit more of that peachy pink than you do the yellow. But this got great vigor, beautiful medium green foliage, and just a beautiful bodacious plant, very easy to grow.
Yeah, I love how a lot of our root and cell partners are adopting in Miss Mandy as a cut flower option, but also think of it as same culture as the Sincerity Dahlia, right? This is a big, robust dahlia, and it's going to be in those larger containers where it's from, a 2.5 quart to a 3 quart, upwards to 11 and 12-inch pots. So think about this in that type of format.
Yep, absolutely. And speaking of cut flowers, oh, wait, a couple more photos of Miss Mandy in here from Lucas, and then also from Welby. So again, you can see those beautiful colorations, lots of flowers. You can see all the buds coming on it as well. So great performance there. But then speaking of cut flowers, we had a new addition to our Karma series that's specifically bred for cut flower production. And so this year we added Karma Caroline, which is in that, it's like a rainbow of color, which my daughter Caroline would approve of a rainbow flower. And this is definitely her favorite flower now. But it has yellows and oranges and pinks, and the underside of the petal is purple. And so you really get this, it's an absolutely phenomenal flower for cut flower growers because it mixes really well in bouquets, and just, yeah, really gorgeous.
I love when those center petals get that magenta tinge to it. That just I'm just show stopper.
Drop dead. And you can see some of the performance here from Mass Young Plants and at Colorado State University. So very floriferous, lots of flowers to harvest. Excellent branching, so which gets all those flowers going, for harvesting for cut flower production, and also, in the landscape. But one of the things I really want to point out with this specifically being a cut flower is that, we're offering dahlias from unrooted cuttings, just like we do all of our other stuff. It's not necessarily novel in general in our industry, but offering cut flower varieties from unrooted cuttings is fairly novel because a lot of flower farmers purchase their dahlias from tuber farm. They start them from tubers. And so this is a great additional option to supply flower farmers with dahlias from unrooted cuttings where they don't have to worry about storing tubers, and are tubers going to be available this year, and are they, like, with the viruses and diseases that sometimes is really hard to keep off of tubers. This is a great option that's easier to plant, less stress, less worry, and higher quality. So it's very exciting to add to our cut flower dahlia collection. And then Sunfinity. So Jamie and I have we've spent a lot of time on Sunfinity. When we launched our Sunfinity Yellow Dark Center from seed, there was quite a lot of work to be done because, like, especially culture wise, because it was so novel, so unique, so innovative. There was literally nothing out there on the market like it. So we had a lot of homework. So we became very familiar with Sunfinity, and it definitely has a special place in my heart. And so we're super excited that this year we have a vegetative Sunfinity to add to our assortment. And it's got this amazing, like, novel, like, double flower. So it's like 1-2 punch of innovation that, hopefully you've come to expect and love from Syngenta Flowers. Yeah. Jamie, tell me more.
Out of the gate in the garden trials, it was the one plant that everyone, when you got an email or you got a text or you saw something on the web, this was the picture, this was the photo, this was the buzz. And just because of that strong garden performance. So yeah, let's take a few look.
Garden performance, the powdery mildew tolerance that we have, just amazing long-term performance.
Yeah, and I think you also coined a new phrase for one of the flowers. What is that term?
Yeah.
It's a real deep technical term.
It's when the PhD comes in sometimes and you got to make up words. But no, so what's cool about this double flower is, like, the longevity behind it. So even when those outer ray petals fall off, that disc that's left is a nice little poof. A poof.
The poof,
Okay,
yes.
the poof. That still persists too, to, like, so it still looks pretty out in the landscape, or even as a cut flower. So this makes an amazing cut flower as well, Jamie. That it just gives it that post-harvest longevity. So keep an eye on the poof.
Yeah, it reminded me of the teddy bear sunflower, the potted sunflower with that nice fuzzy poof.
Yeah, so we have so many photos of this because just the consistency from trial garden to trial garden, like the long-term, like, it just performed all through from, like, early season and even to now. We're getting photos from folks of how amazing their Sunfinity doubles look. And we got some winners, some winning notifications.
That's
here.
right. We received a really wonderful video that Plant Peddler did, and their garden trial results, it came up #1 out of the top 10. So you can see there on the far left, the amount of flags that plant gets. That's typically a sign that it's very popular. And then hot off the press this morning, we got a note that Rakers Roberta's, it was one of the top performers in their trial. And I think they had about 4 to 5 top performers. So we're very honored to have those accolades. And you can see from north to south, we had this gorgeous plant right there with the Ball Gardens. Our account manager there, Pamela Straub, what did she coin this?
The belle of the garden.
How appropriate.
Very,
yes.
very
gorgeous and attractive.
Yeah, it looked so good. And then from Cincinnati Zoo in Ohio, all the way up to Canada, and then coming back down into Smith Gardens in Washington, DGI propagators, and then at Young's Plant Farm, I had the pleasure of especially seeing this one in person, and that early season performance and the flower power that it had. I've also noticed they're attracting lots of pollinators to them, the bees and birds. And I mean, everybody, it's not just us, Jamie. I mean, even nature just loves Sunfinity. And we've been getting some information about beneficial bugs also being attracted to Sunfinity. So there's, lots of great kind of breaking research and investigations going on with this plant, because it's a lot more than just people that like it.
Yeah, I had a great conversation with an entomologist from the West Coast, and she was pointing out all the various beneficials that were floating and flying in and out of the Sunfinity double there at Penn State. I love the photo too about the use of it in the garden. It's a garden plant, right? It can go in the ground, it can go in the container, but Sunfinity really is that garden performance, just like the yellow dark center, the seed. And when you have both of those here in the summertime, it's just striking. We've got a lot of great strategy built into how you can present both of these to your clientele. We really encourage you to look at the double Sunfinity early for that Mother's Day program, and then bring in, say, June to mid-July, the yellow dark center, that big, striking flower, dark center, presents itself, strong sell-through. We've got the protocols built for both of these varieties, and we're really excited, because then you could bring the double back in for late summer and kind of use it as a complementary plant with garden mums and fall crops.
Absolutely. So many options, whether it's seed or it's veg, a single flower or a double flower. There's a Sunfinity for it all. And we continue to focus in on our retail programs for Sunfinity. We have a branded pot and a great tag to use that explains, the benefits of this endless blooms all season long, that Sunfinity started the trend, and we're keeping it going. So we've got a lot of support around that, and a consumer facing website as well.
So finally, we just want to just re-emphasize, we've got this one built, soup to nuts, A to Z, culture guides built. We have a grid of production for summer and for late summer programs, spring and late summer programs. Do you need to pinch it? If you don't pinch it, what kind of PGRs do you use? The timing, down to the propagation phase. We've got this one pretty much wrapped up. We know how to grow it. So we're ready. We're ready to work with you for grower programs and retail programs. Going right into our interspecific New Guinea patients, this is Spectra. We've added a new color, lavender shades, and like the name says, it's got those hints of whitish pink, then into that true lavender color and some darker purple tones. And this is just a very striking one. I love it just because of its body and its performance. So just taking a look, this is a better New Guinean patient, right? This is early front shoulder New Guinea, strong canopy, 120% more flower power than a lot of the other leading interspecific competitors, earlier flowering, great heat tolerance, but it's really a better New Guinea, a part sun, part shade New Guinea. And with this lavender shades, you can see the performance, the uniformity, the color, the flower power, the density, and the heat tolerance that Spectra has. So this is an addition to all those new core colors, or those core colors that we have, to include some new bicolors that we launched last year. We also have a new petite Medinia. So we have the red and we have the pink, and now we have this deep red. So think about Calliope dark red and how that nice crimson burnt color, it has that same look, those flowers, strong flowers. This is a compact Dipladenia grown in quartz or small containers, 8-inch, 10-inch baskets, tidy, it doesn't vine a lot, and it's earlier to flower. So 2 weeks earlier than a lot of the other Dipladenia on the market. So
we got that data.
Check that out. I just revisited Lucas last week, and it was still going strong. And this is one of the times when Medinias just look their greatest.
All right, and so geraniums. So we have a geranium for everything at Syngenta Flowers, and one of the great additions to our Caldera series that we had this year was Caldera Hot Pink. So it really is hot pink. This color is on fire. You can see it from miles away, kind of color. And we love these calderas for their heat tolerance and their spreading habit. That really makes them great for landscapes, and baskets, for mixing with other geraniums. Caldera is where it's at. And this hot pink had great performance. Some of our early trial photos, during the launch process, but this adds to this assortment of colors that we have here with the lavender glow from last year. That was absolutely phenomenal. And then the pink, red, and salmon. And then here's some photos of it from, Cincinnati Zoo there, a little bit of shade there from that evergreen tree there, but still getting the flower power, the foliage fill. And then Colorado State with that higher light, really encouraging that bud development and that flower power. And then from DGI propagators there too, with that, you really see that fill and that spread of the Caldera.
Exactly. And it's, that garden use in the ground or the container, and as a container makes a great combination plant as well. So it's definitely your either filler or your spiller. Yeah, striking, just bright. I mean, I used it at Penn State. We had some stations. I put it on the table, and it just brought the people in to talk about all the genetics. Had it on the corner. Just those single flowers, but brilliance, color, just striking fiery red.
Yeah, amazing. And then geranium combos. So, geranium's been around for a long time. And, we always in our industry, we got to stay innovative. We got to keep things hot. We got to keep things going. And geranium combos are one of the ways to do that with a plant that's well known and loved, but maybe needs a little more spice. And the combos are a really easy way to do that because they play so well together, but then also with others. So here's some examples of some that we had at Cast this year that were absolutely lovely.
Super inspiring. And along with that display, we've provided everyone with a nice brochure to give you 18 inspiring combos of some of our mediums, our Cascade, and how you can use these, whether it's duos or trios. And we have the culture, we have the plantograms already built for you. And one of the greatest things this summer, I got goosebumps, Allison.
Yeah.
I went into Western Michigan. One of my great buddies, Craig Stevens, there at DGI, he was so inspired in California. He worked with Angela and the team there at DGI, and they built this display of the combos.
Beautiful.
And I tell you, the hair on the back of my neck was up, and it was just wonderful to see this grown beautifully, and shows you the balance of color there in Western Michigan. So striking. Speaking of striking,
Calliope large, dark salmon. So that large vigor on it. When the amazing flower power, love this dark salmon color because it really pops. And these plants produce so many flowers. Calliope, know it, love it. The OG interspecific geranium. And it still just continues to knock our socks off, and it adds to, uh, to the broad assortment of colors that we have in Calliope Large. So we really have a geranium for every application and whatever color you would like.
Yeah, hats off to our production partner for Cultivate, Grow and Sell. They grew actually a plant. You couldn't even really see the foliage. The umbels were all over it. It won a retailer award at Cultivate, and you can just see it here on the East Coast at Lucas. The number of flowers, right? Calliope, interspecific branching. When you have branching, you have more flowers. Calliope built for those containers and hanging baskets, that mounded habit.
And then Mojo. So Mojo is another awesome series with kind of that darker foliage that helps to offset the contrast with the flowers, so they really pop. And it also has some like garden performance and just overall performance implications with that dark leaf, which is really great. So nice medium, bigger, a little bit more upright habit. So it's great for those larger containers, or excuse me, slightly smaller containers, like compared to a Calliope, but still that amazing interspecific performance. So this year we added White Splash, which is amazing in combinations. And from what we learned at the Metrolina open house, where they brought in consumers, this summer, consumers love this pattern on a geranium. It was the #1 flagged geranium pattern at that event. So we're adding white splashes to like every series, so that way you're covered.
Yeah, you got your Americana, you've got your Calliope medium, now this Mojo, White Splash, high flower power, high flower count. Not only great for those baskets, but also good for court production with its upright habit.
Absolutely. So some great performance here from Colorado, a couple different locations. You see that consistency and the flower power, and all the Mojos really mix well together. So you'll see from us, especially coming up here in 2025, lots of Mojo combos. Because this is we have that white in our assortment that is great for having in combos. So you have like the light and the dark flowers. So it looks, especially pretty against that dark foliage. So all of them make phenomenal combos together.
All right, let's talk petunias. And we've got quite a few petunias, so we're going to kind of hit the highlights here. Painted Love, if you've got that song in your head, that was a soft sell song. But before that, if you can punch in the original singer and the date that this song was actually launched. We are very curious if anybody can get that. And don't look it up. Don't Google it. Tell us if you know what it is. But Painted Love, what I like to say about it is early on, when the day length is shorter, when the light intensity is less, you get a little more dilution of the center color, but you get that well-defined margin. And what I'd like to say is, hey, you're spray painting the petunia over time. You kind of work that middle and you're getting some color and paint on the petunia in the early spring. And then as the temperatures warm up, the day length is longer. Look at the intensity and the pigmentation. It's an honor to be on the pergola at Mass Young Plants.
Yeah.
That sprouting habit, it grows upright and then cascades down. They had it on the pergola and the container, and also that large planter out by the Bristol Road. In the ground, in the container, here you can see early spring, you get a little more of that dilution of the pigment. But again, as the temperature warms up, the days get longer, darker pigmentation, really great petunia for a monoculture container because of that dual color combination.
Yeah, and it always keeps that white edge. So the purple saturation will change with the light levels, but that white edge always stays there. So it's lovely that that's so consistent. From Iowa to North Carolina to New Jersey, just the flower power on Painted Love is just so insane. We're loving it. Some Breaker Robertas down to Texas. So whether, loving the heat, still getting that fill, amazing hanging baskets, in-ground performance, all the things. It checks all the boxes. Here we've got some nice photos from UGA. And there, they show it in a container. Also plays well with others. and then in a hanging basket.
Okay, now deco, right? This is our shining
And
star when it comes.
Jamie, we do have a guess from Joel Kemper. He said soft sell 1986.
Okay, well, we'll tell the true singer at the end of the session. So
Yeah.
good, nice try, Joel. Not so fast, my friend. Okay, we're gonna hit these last bit of petunias and quick combos, and then we'll open it up for any questions. But Deco Max Pink, this is a deco, prostrate habit, density, flower power, nice pink flowers, just a solid ball of color, and that center stays intense with coloration. Key with petunias is fertility. You know, you'll tend to see a little bit of balding and spread with these decos, but you got to keep the nutrition going if you want to get these petunias rolling all the way through summer. And what we did here is we did some comparisons. So I get the fortunate opportunity to do some of the trial comparisons. So we have one of the leading pink petunias in our industry here against Deco Max Pink. We're finding that it's got about what 30% more
30%,
vigorous.
yep.
So the landscapers
spread.
really like it for the, you know, just spreading and quick fill, quick garden
Right,
fill.
and that's deco. Deco is the landscape and quick combo petunia. So it's got that spread and that fill and that flower power. And then Deco Max just takes it to the max. So it's even more vigor, even more spread. And that's definitely what we see here.
Yeah, just a few other colors. So in the ground or container, but just remember, petunias are heavy feeders and they do require the nutrition to keep going all summer long. Yeah, so you know, Deco Max Pink, whether it's from the south, the north, used in border, in the container, it just continues to spill. I was at Lucas just last week. It actually looked like a Liberty Bell. It was already starting to grow onto the nursery
Yeah.
fabric as a carpet of color. In addition to that Deco Max Pink, we've got two colors in the Deco, a pinwheel purple, which is a novelty, good for a combo with like Itsy
Yep.
and some of those magentas and whites,
Mhm.
also with other Deco colors. This rose vein is my most favorite Deco now. This picture, this little thumbnail picture here doesn't do it justice. Look how dense and intense the coloration is. So this adds that nice rose color to the portfolio, all your core colors in deco, just a strong, striking landscape vegetative petunia. Pinwheel
Yeah,
purple from the
gorgeous.
ground to the container. Just, you know, if a petunia is going to come to the surface in our screening, it's got to have fill, it's got to have landscape performance, and it's got to have flower power all season long. So here you see the rose vein, just these balls of color, density,
Right.
real intense, just because it can rebound after those heavy rains and winds in the summertime. So doesn't matter, container or the ground, just a blanket of color. Okay,
All
let's
right.
wrap up with some of these quick combos.
All right. So as usual, you know, we try to pack too much into one thing because we're just so excited. We're just so excited, you guys. So we had a total of 8 new quick combos this season, but we're highlighting 3 of like our absolute favorites. And the first one is a perfectly purple mix. That's got a great deco, a lanai verbena, and then Cali purple, calibrachoa. And you can just see from DGI to Young's to Penn State to Lucas, just the consistent performance and mix and balance and flower power. And that's really what we look for with our quick combos. These are extensively trialed to make sure that those components balance not only like in like garden performance, but also root really well together for this quick combo concept that where it's a liner that's multi-stuck. So all 3 components can go into the same liner and we test their rooting too. So
yeah, this one complements the Grape Expectations and Plumtastic, those lavender and purple tones that we already have in our KK portfolio.
And then we got Picnic in the Park. This is definitely one of my new favorites with that shortcake blueberry with that pattern on it. It looks like a gingham blanket for a picnic. And again, just seeing that consistency of balance of the components, the fill and the longevity, just playing really well together with these 3 different components. So Picnic in the Park. And then this one, absolute fave. So again, Syngenta leaders in Lantana, and Bandolista that we launched a couple years ago is continuing to just prove itself to be totally phenomenal. And we've updated the lava flow mix to have the 3 Bandolistas in it. And man, like the flower power on it, I'm just dumbfounded.
Yeah, think about just a fruit bowl, just
Yeah.
all those colors and the brilliance of it and the balance and the fast fill, right?
Yeah.
Bandolista is much faster than some of the other series like Bandana. So if you're a southern grower, you might like the Bandana as a combo, but Bandolista for northern growers, that basket bandana, wonderful combination.
Again, that sprounding habit.
Yeah.
So fills and then spreads.
Okay.
And then the only thing, I don't know, Jamie, I don't know, the only thing that would make Bandolista better is just having more of them. So, little sneak peek into 2025. We are launching a new Bandolista Pink Lemon Berry. So a color that's going to be really phenomenal in quick combos, and alongside the other Bandolistas. So we're super excited for Pink Lemon Berry, and then also a amazing addition to our Cora XDR Seed Vinca series, Red Glow. So this is our fully resistance, our 34 isolates resistance matches Cora XDR. This is our red answer. So this is coming at you. It's amazing. It's gorgeous. It's red. It's aerial phytophthora resistance. So be on the lookout for this because it's gonna blow your socks off. So yeah, amazing.
Exciting things coming.
Yes.
Once again, we encourage you to visit the trial site. So think about it. If you're a broker using this as a silent sales tool, if you're a grower looking at these trial pictures across the country or in your region, and if you're a retailer looking at the performance and the flower power that these genetics deliver.
And then thank you again to our trialing partners. We love everything that you do. So keep it going. It's hard work, but someone's got to do it. So thank you.
Yeah, attendance at these shows and these open houses, I saw it was up. And I think a lot of growers, retailers, brokers are using these more regional display gardens to improve their identity and their regional performance of their programs with their customers. So,
yep. So thank you.
Hats off. Thank you.
All right. Questions. What do you guys got for us? I'm going to stop sharing for now.
And while we're waiting, thank you very much, Joel. Soft Cell, as a child of the 80s, it was an exciting song to hear. It was originally sung by a lady named Gloria Jones in 1964.
Oh, Gloria Jones. All right. Oh, Harvey put in a guess too. Hey, Harvey. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions for us?
I believe some came in the chat directly to you guys, because I can see a couple.
Okay. GR guide.
Are you seeing them, or do you want me to read them?
It would be great if you could read that. Well, I see one of them. There was one question on the Deco Max, how it's different from Deco. We covered that, and it's that max spread. So it's about it has more spread on it than the regular Decos.
Yeah, second to that would be probably the Deco Sorbet, but it still doesn't have the vigor that Max Pink has.
And then mum trials, yes. So we definitely participate in a lot of the big mum trials as well. The one at Lucas, that's coming up soon.
Week
and
39.
At Sawaya and
next week.
Yes. So yes, we know and love us for mums too. So we absolutely have our genetics in those trials.
Yeah, and check out the website where you'll see all our events page, and it has all the listings and locations and what they'll feature.
Oh, were there any perennial standouts this summer? Yes. So, I mean, my favorite was Hunky Dory. The Hunky Dory Delphinium from seed, absolutely gorgeous.
The honeymoon hibiscus was another great one. Just those big, small breakfast plate type flowers that really highlight the garden in midsummer.
Yeah, definitely. Perennials are not ones to sleep on either. Oh, any advice on how to help plants be successful when deliveries are late? Well, good culture, great fertility, making sure that things are properly watered. But then, the usual culture stuff. But then there's also, we partner with Chrysol on the Chrysol Lesco product that helps with species that are sensitive to ethylene. You can spray Chrysol Lesco on them 2 weeks and 2 days before shipping, and it helps to protect the flowers from the negative effects of ethylene during transport. And it'll also hold flowers too. If you're holding product in your greenhouse for a little longer than you planned, it'll help those flowers stay a little longer. I think, did I miss any, Caroline?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. And thank you for the folks who bared with us that we went over. We're just super excited to talk about our stuff. So thank you for the time that you dedicated to us and then this additional time. We appreciate it. Okay. All right. Thank you.